All right, I am here today with Courtney Jones from Orlando City Youth Soccer. She's a member of their ECNL. You're an '05,
Yes, ma'am.
2005 ECNL player. I've also seen you at Florida ODP events. You played high school soccer at Apopka High School, and you've done a few camps. I've been at like UCF, and I believe, were you at the Sunrise Prime ID camp?
No,
Oh,
ma'am.
you weren't at that one? Okay. So anyways, from all those different kind of organizations and camps and high school teams that you've been a part of, it reminds me of my path to getting a scholarship to play soccer. I would imagine that you would like to also get a scholarship someday to play soccer. Kind of explain what your dreams or aspirations are for soccer.
For soccer, I just want to be on the U.S. national team and go to like a top 10 school for soccer and get a good scholarship.
Okay, so do you feel like what you've been doing so far has been beneficial in getting noticed and getting seen and just as far as what you're doing with Orlando City ECNL, do you feel like you're getting all the tools that you need to develop?
Yes, ma'am, definitely.
Okay, so what are some things that you are doing um, on your own or outside of club soccer to kind of get better?
I private train with a couple coaches, and then on days I don't have that, I do technical work on my own because I have a park in my neighborhood that I go to, and then I'll do stuff there, and then I run.
Okay. I know for me, growing up, I had the same kind of similar dreams that you have of, playing on the national team and playing college soccer. Um, I had a few players who I really looked up. Brandy Chastain, who was way before your time. She was kind of my big role model. I thought she was so iconic. Do you have any players, whether it's on the men's side, on the women's side, do you have any players who really motivate you to want to become just like them?
Harley Lloyd.
Carly Lloyd, why Carly?
She's just really determined and she hasn't stopped and she's such a great player and I just want to play like her. She has a great
Um,
attitude towards it too.
yeah, I think when I look at both of you, when you say that she's kind of your role model, I see very similar characteristics in both of you. Your work ethic obviously comes straight to mind. Um, just from knowing you for the past probably 2 years now, you work extremely hard. You show up to the field. Your main priority, from what I can see, is how can you get better that day, and it's not how do I have a better friendship with my friends. How do I um, you're very straight to the point. You're there for soccer. You want to get better, and I think that's really admirable. And obviously, if Carly Lloyd is your role model, you've kind of got that down. Um, so moving on to your time with ECNL, um, I did not have the opportunity to play for an ECNL team because ECNL started the year my freshman year of college. So kind of go through. Obviously, there's these big showcase tournaments or showcases that you attend. Kind of go through what it's like playing in front of all those college scouts, because I'm assuming that if it's anything like I experienced on a different level, you're still playing in front of hundreds of scouts. Do you get nervous, or how do you kind of block all that out?
At first, when you first start a game, it's a bit nerve wracking for me, but then I just want to showcase myself well so I can get noticed by them. So I just take it all in and then I just play the best I can.
Yeah, so I think a thing that worked for me was just, I mean, it's easier said than done, but just pretend like it's any other game, right? Um, Chances are maybe they aren't even watching you screw up that one play. Maybe they only see, you scoring that goal. And so you can only control what you can control, right? And that's how hard and how much effort you put onto the field. Um,
Mhm.
so if you had to choose at this moment, just throw like 3 or 4 schools that you would be so happy to play for.
UNC, FSU, and Stanford or UCF.
Okay, awesome. Now to kind of jump away from ECNL, obviously I mentioned you played at Apopka High School. High school soccer, I think when I look back, it kind of brought a little bit of that joy back to the game. Obviously, I spent so much time in my club career, my youth soccer. I was traveling almost 2 hours just to get to practice and 2 hours back home. And so for me, playing high school soccer kind of gave me that joy again. Kind of talk me through your high school experience so far after this freshman year.
It was fun. Sometimes it could be a bit frustrating because it's not the same as club, but I got through, and it was just a time to like show how you play in front of different players and like different levels of play.
Yeah, so that kind of brings me to my next point. Sometimes your rosters on your high school team may not be as deep as your club team. So I know you mentioned your frustration. I went through the same kind of thing where there were players on our team who weren't nearly up to the standard that I was used to. How did you go about bringing out the best in your teammates?
I was just like, it's high school, so you just need to play you, and then if other people can't, then try and motivate them to like play at a specific pace, and you just need to watch who you're playing to and adapt to it.
Yeah, I think that's good advice. I think any time that you can make the people around you better, it's going to make you a better player as well. Um, so if you could pick a moment from your freshman season at Apopka, what game or moment kind of sticks out to you?
I would say when we played Lake Brantley, we lost, but it was still a great game because there was a couple of mistakes. It was the semifinals for regionals, and we were winning 1-0 in overtime, and then they came back and lost 2-1. But it just shows that we can't, when we're in the league, we can't just drop off the level of play. We have to keep going.
Yeah, and I think you see that even more so in the high school season because sometimes you have these built-up rivalries from years before, and I'm sure by the time you're a senior and you're playing against Lake Brantley again, you're going to have all those past emotions into those games. Now, I know when I look back, I also think about all the different coaches that I've had and how each one of them kind of gave me something slightly different from the other one. If you could just name if there's a coach that comes to mind or a few coaches that come to mind who have really helped you develop so far, I'd love to hear who they are.
Really all of my coaches. I'd say Coach Dan, Coach Robbie, Coach John, Coach Jimmy. Really all of my coaches, if I'm being honest. I've developed a lot over the season and it's all because of those coaches and even more.
Okay. When I first met you, you were on Sam's team.
Oh yeah, and Coach Sam. Can't forget
Coach
about
Sam,
him.
yep. Can't forget about him. Shout out to Coach Sam, who's now coaching college soccer. What made him, obviously since he was just, a youth coach just a few years ago and now has jumped to that level. Why do you think he got that opportunity? What makes him a really good coach?
Just his drive for the players and like he puts all of his heart into the game, which makes the players better because he just I don't know how to explain it. He pushes you to be the best player you can.
Right. He holds you to a standard and you can definitely tell his passion in it, right?
Yes.
And then lastly, obviously during COVID-19, you're unable to be with your teammates, with coaches, really for the most part. What are some things that you are doing to make sure that you're staying sharp so that once this all passes, that you can try and get back to normal as quickly as possible?
Just working on my own. I'm doing a lot of private training still a little bit, and then going on runs, going to the park, and doing work by myself.
Okay. Have you watched any film or any footage? Try to learn
Yes, we
some from people?
have an assignment to do. We have to watch the 2002 game, so I'm watching that now, and then I've been watching past games from like USA and old games like that.
Okay. Well, it's been a pleasure having you allow me to interview you. For anyone who is watching this, Courtney is probably, and she won't ever say this because she's very humble, but she is probably one of the best, if not the best, youth female player that I've come across in the past few years. So I'm so excited for your recruiting process and for you to kind of narrow your options down. But I think the future is very, very bright for you. So
Thank you.
thank you very much for answering my questions.
No problem. Thank you.